Hello everybody, it's Julia here from the Highly Sensitive Tarot, and I'm back today with a look at my reincarnation cards and a spread that I did for myself over the weekend. If you've seen my recent video sort of cataloguing my oracle cards, my oracle decks, you'll see that I talked about two past lives decks that I've got. One called Past Lives Revealed, and the other one, which is this one, Awakening Far Memory, which I showed you. My friend bought me this well over a year ago, and I think I was just I felt uncomfortable using it. I just wasn't sure how to use it, what to do with it. And just I think at times just didn't feel like I had the time or the energy to really do it justice. But over the weekend I just thought I'll just have a go and just see what comes. And actually I was stunned and really quite fascinated by what came up. So I thought I'd just show you hopefully without going into too much detail about what it all means to me personally, which is very difficult. I just thought I'd show you the process, what I did, and what it means to me, really. So in this box there are five different sorts of cards in this box, and the deck comes with this really nice little hardback book, and within the deck there are, as I said, there are 5 sets of cards, and we have occupation cards, culture cards, environment cards, themes, and termination, which basically means how you died. So as you can see, for the occupation, there's lots and lots of different things that people might have done throughout time. In the culture, we've got different cultures from around the world, from all around the world. Then in the environment, we've got different types of places that people live, such as deserts, forests, mountains. The red cards are themes, and these might be the themes of your lives or a life. Although I think from reading this book, it does pretty much say that whatever you draw in these readings, it's possible that they may be kind of patterns that are set up. They're things that you may have lived through many times before, so they have left a kind of imprint within you. And then obviously we've got termination here, which is how you might have died, with anything from peacefully died to suicide to a disease or starvation. So as you can see, I had sort of struggled with the thought of doing this. I do actually have quite a strong past life story, which I may tell one of these days, which is backed up by quite a lot of real things. That's made it quite sort of spooky for me. But I didn't really get a hint of that with these cards that I drew. And the way that I drew them was I put each set of cards on the table, and I took some deep breaths and I meditated for a short time. And then I just allowed my hand to run over the cards as if to scan them, which is something I do quite a lot. I don't always shuffle cards. Quite often I will put my hands across them until something feels right. And usually for me, it's like a tingle within my palm. Not necessarily heat or cold, but just more like a tingle, like a little tingle across my palm. And then I generally know that that is the card to choose. So that was how I chose these cards, the initial 5 cards. And then I also drew a tarot card for each reincarnation card. This is the Tower of the Abyss. And the question that I asked for these tarot cards was, how has this past life impacted upon me currently, and what do I have to learn from it? So, because I thought, that's what's really relevant here, isn't it? So the first card that I drew was the termination card. And I got fire. And do you know, I wasn't surprised to see that card here at all. Let me put that there because I've got a glare, haven't I? I wasn't surprised to see that card at all. I am terrified of fire, and it's taken me a long, long time in my life to be able to make fires, have a coal fire or a wood fire and be able to deal with it and not be horribly scared of it. And throughout my life, I've always felt uncomfortable in certain places and felt like my skin might set on fire, might light on fire. And I know that sounds really, really bizarre and strange, but I've been in certain buildings, certain churches, certain places, and just felt really very uncomfortable, like my skin was prickling and drying and tightening. And I've often thought to myself, if I was alive centuries ago, they would have burnt me at the stake as a witch for sure. So I wasn't surprised to see this card at all. And in the book it says that, people will have died in fires so commonly, with our ancestors. They, the way that people heated and lit their homes and things like that, there just would have been a lot more fires. So it would have been a common thing that people died in fires. But then there is also the Witchcraft Association, isn't there? And of many, many people being burnt at the stake. So I don't really know. I drew these cards at the weekend and I'm still pondering them, to be honest. I haven't reached any hard and fast conclusions about anything. I'm just pondering. I'm trying to use them as a learning experience for myself, I suppose. So the card that I got with this, with the fire, bizarrely, is the King of Wands. And I don't very often draw the King of Wands in a reading relating to myself. My astrology, I don't have a lot of fire in my chart. I'm mostly earth and air. In fact, I think I only have one planet that is fire in my chart. And, obviously with the King of Wands, it's about mastering your own energy, isn't it? It's about being able to manifest and manipulate and use, access and use your own inner energy, particularly with the King of Wands. So I'm not really sure what to make of that, really. I mean, because I asked the question, how has that impacted upon me now and in this life, and what do I have to learn from it? And as I said, I don't have a lot of fire in my chart, and I also have a lot of chronic health problems, which means that I struggle with my own energy. My own energy is quite lacking sometimes. I can be a bit of a flat battery, and I can struggle to generate my own energy, I suppose, and recharge. So, maybe that is as a reaction from too much fire in my life. I don't know. I don't know. As I said, I'm not showing you these because I have the right and wrong answers and I know everything. I'm just pondering, really. So the next card, this is the, what is this? Let's try and think of the proper name for it. Where are we? So it is my culture, the culture. And I've drawn the Renaissance, which is fascinating, isn't it? I don't know a great deal about the Renaissance except that it was like a real period of enlightenment and people kind of soaking up new knowledge, people experimenting, people trying out new things. It was a period of art and culture and development, and was perhaps the start of sort of more commonplace literacy amongst people. I'm not really sure. Let's have a look in the book. I'm trying to remember what it said. It's card number 23, isn't it? So it says the rebirth of European civilization began in Florence under the Medicis in 1389 to around 1464, or maybe a bit later. What does it say? The Renaissance owed much to the fall of Constantinople, the capital of the Eastern Roman Empire, to the Turks in the year 1453. This apparent disaster for the West generated a new, larger influx of educated Greeks into Italy as refugees. Their presence in Italy provided an immense stimulus to the general intellectual rebirth that was characteristic of this period, and this opened the way to the growth of an intellectual freedom from the dictates of an unenlightened religious hierarchy, a liberation that is still not completely achieved. And the Renaissance, which literally means the rebirth, was an era of explosive intellectual growth as well as an expansion in arts, which was by no means limited to Italy. It was also a period of great turmoil. The progressive liberation of the peasants from servitude and the growth both of the mercantilistic class and of the towns. It was an exciting, colourful and dangerous time that undoubtedly left its mark on your individual psyche. This may well provide you with access to apparent lives associated with this time, giving you an opportunity once more the better to understand your true nature. And what's really, really fascinating for me is that I drew the Ace of Swords with this card, and that doesn't surprise me again at all, really. As I said, I have mostly earth and air in my chart. I'm always very, very interested by sort of intellectual pursuits. You know, I've always been very interested in study and learning and knowledge and teaching, experimentation, being creative. I've always been absolutely fascinated with all of those things. I'm a Virgo sun and moon, so I have a lot of mercurial energy. I think somebody said about my birth chart that it's all about the communication. So it really doesn't surprise me at all to see these things and to think that I may have been alive during this quite exciting time. And I may well have been involved, you know, quite heavily with all of this, this new learning, this new knowledge. You know, the opening of people's minds, this kind of liberation from, as it said, that peasant servitude. So if that's the case, that's great. I like that. The next card here, and this is, what is this? And it says military. It is my occupation. Yeah, my occupation. And there was lots and lots of different occupations here. There was 14. And I chose military, which did shock me a little bit because there were many occupations there that I think I might have been better suited to in the past. I'm not a very physical person. I'm quite a pacifist. I'm certainly no warmonger. And I think, had I probably been alive in times like World War II, I would have probably been put in prison for not fighting, because I would have had no interest in such a thing. It's just not me. So I was a little bit sort of confused and concerned to get this card military. And when I read the book, it said that, it's entirely possible that you may have been involved in conflict in some way throughout your life. You may have fought for something in this life, something that meant a great deal to you. You may have been the aggressor and caused a lot of bloodshed, or you may have been the victim of something. And just because it says military doesn't mean to say that you were a soldier fighting. You may well have been in command or in another position somewhere within that sort of military. And the card that I drew was the Knight of Swords. And again, this doesn't surprise me. We have to remember swords are weapons. And with the Knight of Swords, this is about communication, isn't it? It's about, it's a little bit aggressive communication. There's some pressure, isn't there, involved with the Knight of Swords, some kind of almost a need to dominate somebody else with your words sometimes. And that, like I said, without revealing too much about myself, that does resonate a little bit because, as I said, it's all, with my astrology, I'm all about Mercury, communication. I can see myself as not being part of an actual battle, the fighting, the killing, because that really isn't me. I don't see how that could be me. But I can see myself being somebody perhaps behind the scenes, somebody in intelligence, somebody whispering in the ear of somebody in command, somebody who their life kind of depended on their ability to find things out and communicate things. And what's the word I want to say? Strategy. I can imagine I would have been good at strategy, and obviously strategy would be a big part of any kind of military, wouldn't it? So, yeah. Not feeling particularly happy about that, really. What are some of the other occupations here? Let's have a look. So there was government, law, military, health, education, agriculture, artist, builder, trader, labourer, beggar, courtesan, mother, and religious. And I could see myself actually being quite a few of those, but the military, I'm not so sure. As I said, I am a serious pacifist. I do not agree with much of the warmongering that goes on in the world, and I can't imagine in my psyche, in my soul, that I ever have done. So if I was fighting for something, it must have been something that I truly believed in at the time, I guess, mustn't it? So the next card, we've got two more. The next card is environment, if I remember rightly. Have a look. Environment, yeah, the green cards are environment. And there was desert, forest, mountain, fields, rivers, towns, cities, marine and seashore for this card. And I picked marine. And again, that's a strange card for me to choose. And it's weird actually at the moment, because for the first time in my life, I do live very close to the sea. I live very close, 5 minutes walk from a big river that feeds into the sea. I'm probably a 20-minute drive from the coast. but and where I live in East Anglia, you know, I'm surrounded by the North Norfolk coast, but I've never really enjoyed the seaside. It's never been a place that I've been drawn to. In fact, I find the sea quite unsettling, you know, unless it's, you know, completely flat calm, like a glass, like a mirror. I do not enjoy it at all. So to think about being a person whose life revolved so heavily around the sea and moving around on the sea, oh, I don't know. But I guess if this past life is relating to the Renaissance, well, that's how people would have moved around, isn't it? By, you know, they would have travelled by boat. They would have been in boats like this one here and little rowing boats like this one here. So I don't know. I don't really know how to take that. And the card that I drew with it is the Ten of Wands, which, you know, I can kind of get, really, because I think if I did have to live and work around the sea, and that was a big part of my life, I think I would find it a burden. I don't think that I would enjoy it particularly. I think I would have found it very hard work. I don't know. I think this is the card that I've kind of struggled with the most, because it just does not resonate for me at all. I'm just not a big fan of water. And again, I don't have a lot of water in my chart. I am a Scorpio ascendant, but there's not a great deal more water in my birth chart. I am mostly earth and air, and I feel much more comfortable around woodland and trees and the countryside. So yeah, I'm not not really sure what to say about that card. And then the last card, and this was a little bit sad, really, to see this. This is so what is the category of this card? It is sorry, I have to keep flicking in the book. Haven't managed to sort of keep all of these things in my head yet. So these are themes, these red cards, and there was abundance, growth, justice, stability, love, power, creativity, freedom, greed, betrayal, and fear. And to be honest, I wouldn't have been surprised to get any of those things, you know. But this did feel a little bit sad. This is that there may have been patterns throughout my past lives of great loves, but also great losses, great tragedies is what it said in the book. You know, times of quite profound loss, as well as times of great passions and great loves, and that my love life, you know, the relationships in my life may have been prominent, I guess, in my life. They may have been prominent and a big deal to me in my time, and something that perhaps I struggled with quite a lot, which does resonate, to be honest. And I think what made me sad was when I asked, you know, how does that relate to my current life and what can I learn from that? I drew the Five of Cups, which is a card of loss, isn't it? It's a card of sorrow and loss. Feeling sorry for yourself, you know, the glass is half empty, not seeing the good, not seeing the positive, just being weighed down by grief and loss. And I don't know, I feel that. I'm not entirely sure how I feel that, and even if I was entirely sure, it's not something I feel I want to discuss here. But I feel it resonates. And so I think I've taken a couple of photos of all of these cards, and because I will have to put them away, because I won't have room on my tarot table to just keep them out all of the time. But you know, I think this has been a really very valuable learning experience for me actually to look at these, and I think this is a great way to do shadow work, to be honest, particularly if you draw a tarot card to go with the past life card and you ask that question, how does this relate to my current life and what do I have to learn from that? I think this is a fantastic way to do shadow work, and as you probably all know, I do like a bit of shadow work. So I will continue to reflect upon these cards and continue to try and see how they may be relating to my life now. But yeah, I just thought I'm partly putting this video out for myself, really, because my whole channel in many ways is just a learning experience for me. It's something that I can look back on and, you know, see my growth and my progress. But I just also thought that it might be interesting for some of you, because I know many people are interested in past lives, and I know a couple of people that watch have got some past life cards. So I thought I'd just have a little go, really, and just show you what I can see here. But anyway, yeah, I think that's all I want to say, really. Please do say hello and, you know, leave me a comment. That would be fab. And I'll see you all again soon. Thank you.